Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys unboxing and review video. Now today we're going to be taking a look at something that I personally picked up in Japan from the Hot Toys DC All-Stars event. This is none other than the Prestige edition of the Batman Arkham Knight figure. Now if you'll remember, not too long ago I was putting up my figure preview video for this figure. This has to be one of the quickest turnarounds that I have ever seen from pre-order to final release. Now it's not released everywhere worldwide, but if you do want to pick one up, they are in stock right now with toyswonderland.com. Hot Toys had a very limited run of only 500 that were released to the public. Toys Wonderland managed to get their hands on a few, and their price is pretty darn close to what you're seeing from Sideshow Collectibles, only a little bit more expensive, and of course they've got payment plans and all that other good stuff. Link for that is down in the description below. Now if you do like seeing these really early Hot Toys unboxing and review videos, why not hit that subscribe and bell notification icon so you're notified as soon as brand new Hot Toys or indeed third-party content goes live on the channel. Either way, what we're going to do now is get the box laying flat in the light box and do the unboxing. And here, of course, we have the box art for the Batman Arkham Knight Prestige Edition figure. Now, meant to replicate the front of his chest plate, we have a huge gold foil bat logo on the front of the box. It looks absolutely fantastic. It's very reflective and it picks up the light quite nicely. Now, you can also see a huge A in the background, I guess meant to replicate the fact that this is from Arkham Knight. You can see Arkham Knight down the bottom there. It's part of the video game Masterpiece series, and it is a Hot Toys exclusive item. Now, opening up the front cover, you can see the Batman himself and the cast and crew on the side. This, again, is a nice gold foil style printing. On the back, you do have all of the warnings and stuff like that, again, accompanied by another huge A. Now, I have seen this guy in person at the DC All-Stars event in Tokyo. It looked great. People were snapping a bunch of pictures, so I guess a lot of people over in Japan, at least, really did appreciate the look of this figure. A lot of us in the Western collecting communities aren't really loving this piece. I personally will have to decide throughout the course of this video, because this is pretty much a straight up reissue of the Arkham Knight figure. Now you can see all of the exact same accessories on a tray on the front there. Don't worry, you'll get a much closer look at all of this stuff in just a second, but let's take a look at that figure himself. I can already see the display base is super bright gold, and it is very shiny down the bottom of the actual package there. Now, of course, if you've never opened a Batman figure before, the cape is quite notoriously difficult to get out of the back of the packaging. There we go, as everything goes flying. But here we have the Bat himself. That gold Bat logo is just glistening. It looks so darn good. Very striking. The suit, everything about this suit is a lot darker in contrast to the original Batman figure. And don't worry, we will compare them in this video, but everything is looking really sleek and really fantastic. The only big drawback with this style of figure, the Arkham Knight figure specifically, is the fact that the joints are a little bit restrictive, but you'll find out a little bit more about that throughout the course of this video. Now, of course, he does come with a bunch of other stuff that's situated in the bottom of the display base, including his really awesome gold foil bat logo display base, and of course, a bunch of other accessories which have gone absolutely everywhere. Don't worry, what we're going to do now is take all of the accessories out, lay them out in the light box, and take a closer look at everything he comes with. And here we have all of the accessories that come with the Prestige edition of Batman Arkham Knight. Now, bearing in mind, all of these accessories, if not even more, come with the other two versions. Now, I'm talking about the Futura Knight Batman, who comes with that Batman Beyond style Batarang. That is the only real difference. Otherwise, they pretty much all come with the exact same stuff. Now, let's take a look at the display base first. As you can see, Batman Arkham Knight Prestige Edition, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Nice gold foil treatment. Do be careful though not to scuff up the bat symbol. I would probably advise leaving the plastic on top, because out of the box this is already looking a little bit too fragile in my opinion. Just be careful, but I do at least like the shape of this display base, very Age of Ultron style, and I do appreciate that. Now he does come with this piece right here, which can be used to swap out the mouth plate. If you've ever received a Batman figure like the BVS one or the Justice League one, they all come with pretty much this exact same tool. He does of course come with a bunch of hands. Let's just take a look at one. You can see a very subtle blue treatment on the back of the handguard there, and of course some really nice silver mechanical details on the fingers themselves. The actual hands are very stiff. Before you put accessories in these, heat these up in warm water, spread the fingers, then place the accessory inside. Otherwise, you may risk damaging the paint on the hand, or indeed the accessory itself. Now, you do get 2 of these Batarangs. I really like the way these look. They're very, very sharp towards the end, so do be careful. They aren't made of metal or anything like that. They are plastic, but I do like the paintwork. They do look suitably realistic. Now, speaking of realistic, this mouthplate looks absolutely fantastic. In fact, it looks potentially a little bit more HD than the one we got with the Arkham Knight Batman himself, the original release. We will have to compare that a little bit later in this video, but as you can see, it is a little bit of an angry expression for the Bat himself. Now let's take a look at the biggest of his weapons, this one right here. It doesn't fold up, unfortunately, but it is painted, detailed, and sculpted really nicely, just like it was previously, and I do appreciate that they've gone ahead and given us all of these same accessories. Now he does come with this piece right here, which is the one that I'm pretty sure he uses to mimic people's voices on the radio. No detail on the little screen on the back, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure I said that in the original video, but still, I appreciate how good this is painted. It looks weathered, it looks metal, it looks awesome, just like we saw in the game itself. This one, I'm pretty sure, is one of those cryo freeze grenades. You can see a nice blue paint treatment on the inside there, and of course, he can hold it in his hand just fine. Now, he does come with 2 of these little grapnel line pieces. They are to be used in conjunction with this piece right here. These can move down, you can plug in the lines and make it look like he's shot them out. I'm not sure about the coloring on this. It's very icy blue and silver, but I guess that is accurate to the game itself. The wires on these pieces are made of metal, so that is definitely a bonus. He does come with his Kjell Explosive Gun here. It is, again, painted a little bit more sort of comic-y, but it's from a video game, so it definitely does make sense not to be as realistic as some of the other weaponry. But still, as I said, with all these pieces, I appreciate that they threw that in the box. Now, this piece is a little bit more modular. This, of course, is his grappling gun. You can remove the little, I guess you call it the little grappling hook piece. Then again, you can remove the front piece as well. And you can interchange it with various different attachments to the front. So there's that one there with the more heavy-duty looking hook. And of course, you can interchange it with this one right here. I'm pretty sure this is meant to replicate his little electric gun that he uses to shoot his enemies. Do correct me down in the comment section if I am wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what that's supposed to be. I love the way this looks. This has always struck me as being really, really chunky, but it was like that in the game, so you can't fault Hot Toys for being accurate. Either way, he comes with a bunch of stuff, as you can see here, but what we're going to do now is get the figure himself out here and take a closer look. And here we have the Prestige Edition Batman Arkham Knight himself, standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy posing or accessories, or even futzing with the cape. I have to tell you, I always forget how difficult it is to get this cape looking anywhere near something that you consider saying looks good. It's very unruly, it's hard to manage, I don't like the material, it's double ply, which means it's very, very thick. There are at least some wires in it, which means you can tame it a little bit, but you will have to use Dean Knight's patented trick of using hairpins to make it more tameable, because as it is, fresh out of the box, it looks a little bit wild. But either way, the figure standing there himself looks fantastic. I love that pop of gold on the chest, and that real contrast between the darker look of the armor being a little bit more black really makes it pop. The whole thing looks like a really high-end statue, but of course, it's a figure, so you get the benefit of having some more articulation. Just like what we saw with the Prime 1 statue, this guy looks amazing. I'm so glad, personally, that Hot Toys went ahead and did this piece. I know a lot of people are saying they would have rathered the Harley that they've shown, or a bunch of other characters, Catwoman, Poison Ivy. Why give us another Batman? Well, the mold is there, it's ready to go. Why not release at least this final version of the Prestige version of Batman? Because a lot of people I know did get this suit in the game, and having it immortalized in figure form will really mean a lot to them. Me personally, I didn't do that. I just love the way it looks, and I can't wait to have him on the shelf with the rest of the line. Either way, what we're going to do now is get him off the rotating turntable, punch in, and take a closer look at the details. And here we have Batman himself up close and personal, and I have to say the details on this suit really do hold up. It looks especially good in this darker format. When we compare him to the original version of Batman, you will see that there is a stark difference between the two. He does also have a little bit less of that weathering that we saw on the original. All of this carbon fiber stuff up here was all chipped, and it was meant to look that way. It looked like it did in the game, but I actually appreciate how clean and crisp this suit is. Now, I also do like the utility belt. It's a very nice, vibrant gold, and it has this speckling texture, which I always say is missing from a lot of Hot Toys pieces. It makes it look like real metal. Now, let's take a look at that head sculpt. As you can see, it looks really, really good. I have to apologize for the darkness of the lighting here. He is an overall very dark figure, so it's a little bit hard to capture all the details, but as you can see, a lot of tech detail in the entire suit. Now, let's talk about this cape. It's not all bad. I do at least like the texture. It's accurate to the game with all these little bits and pieces that are of different materials. It is at least wired, but then again, I don't know whether it's accurate to have the cape tucked underneath these shoulder pads or in fact on top. Some of the figures have had them tucked underneath. I'm pretty sure the original figure did, but this one right here, as you can see, fresh out of the box, comes over the top there, and it does sort of contour nicely, but it looks a little bit funky. Now, these pieces, I'm not too sure I love the blue on there. I would have much rather a much darker sort of glossy black, but then again, this works perfectly fine. Now, the bodysuit itself, you can see, is a little bit fragile. Do be careful, especially when you see a little bit later in the articulation segment of this video. It's restricted. Be careful when you are moving it. But other than that, it still looks at least really darn good. I do actually really like the fact that Hot Toys went ahead and reissued this in the gold format, even though, as I said, a lot of people aren't going to like it. For me personally, I love the way they've done this. Panning the camera down to give you a closer look at the rest of the outfit. As you can see, it does carry on throughout, exactly like we saw with the Arkham Knight version of Batman, just the standard version. A nice sort of darker look to the grey though, and I love the really nice black mesh on the inside there. It's been a while since I did that video, so hopefully this more higher res review will give those of you wondering what the original one looked like a little bit more insight if you are looking to purchase that figure. Now, in terms of the boot guards themselves, they are again painted in that really funky sort of midnight blue. Not sure it really gels well with the rest of the look of this figure, but then again, it was technically, I think, how it appeared in the game. As I said, I never unlocked this suit, so I can't be 100% certain, but either way, it still is a really nice effect. At least they've painted it nicely with this glossy blue finish. Not sure again though if that is my favorite look. Now, I will mention this a little bit later in the articulation segment, but these boot pieces are a little bit longer than I would have liked, so they do limit the range of motion just a little bit. Now, I quickly want to talk about the bottom of the cape. You can see that it is on wires, except some of these pieces aren't. Just this main one down the back there, and the odd few, this one right here, is. So you do really have to pick your battles when it comes to posing this cape, but don't worry, it can be tamed. If you use that hair clip method of pinching the cape together, putting a hair clip over the top, it will keep it nice and close to the body and have that really nice draping look. Just bear in mind, you will have to put a little bit of work into getting the cape to look just right. Now, just quickly going over articulation on Batman himself. Now, word of warning, I'm going to be a little bit more careful with my figure because I don't want to damage it. It's a little bit hard to find, it's a little bit rare, so I'm not going to damage anything, but I'm sure you can push the joints a little bit further than I'm willing to go. Now, starting off with the head itself, it is on a ball joint, a dumbbell joint of sorts, so you get a bit of motion out of that. Now, in terms of the arms themselves, they go out to about there, they go forward to about there before they start sort of bunching up at the bicep there. You do have a swivel at the actual upper part of the arm, and I'm sure the bicep can rotate as well. You do have a pretty decent double bend at the elbow itself, traditional 1/6 scale joints at the wrist. Now, in terms of the torso, you do have movement there. It can crunch, it can swivel, and it can bend. Just be careful not to displace any of that armor there. Now, in terms of the legs, they can go forward to about there, but you're meeting a lot of restriction from the suit itself. They can go out before you start to get a little bit of stress. They go out to maybe about there before I'd feel a little bit uncomfortable pushing it any further. You do have a pretty decent double bend at the knee, and of course a swivel at the upper thigh. Now, in terms of the ankles themselves, they are a little bit more restricted because these armor pieces come down to the side. So when you are moving it, just bear that in mind, but you do get a a fairly decent range of motion. Now, bringing out the other two Batman Arkham Knight figures for a quick rotating side-by-side comparison. First of all, let me know if you like this format for the comparisons. Having the figures rotating next to each other just gives you a look at the entire piece rather than it just standing there. But either way, as you can see, the differences between this version and the normal version are quite apparent. The color is very strikingly different, not only of course in the chest logo, but in the bodysuit and of course the armor on the torso as well. The gold is so darn striking. I love the way it looks, and of course the darker look to the armor is a really nice contrast and it works very well. Now, the belt isn't as big of a difference as I thought it was going to be initially. It is still a lot more gold and it does have a little bit more saturation to it, but overall it looks like pretty much the exact same thing. Now, you can see the gauntlets and the boots are pretty much identical. Same thing with the head sculpt itself. Now, of course, the comparison with the Futura Knight version of Batman, a lot more black, a lot darker, of course, a lot more red on the suit as well, versus being an actual suit from the game. This is more of a Hot Toys artistic representation. They took a little bit, and I really like the way it looks, but I am super excited for the actual Batman Beyond version of the figure. Now, you can see that the cape does drape over the shoulder pads on the Futura Knight figure, but not on the original Arkham Knight Batman. Again, I don't know what's accurate for this gold logo version of the suit. I'll have to check some footage of the game again, but either way, just know that you will have to do, again, a little bit of futzing to get it to look the way you want. Just wrapping up on the Hot Toys Arkham Knight Prestige Edition Batman. Now, this piece, I know, is a very, very controversial one, but let me propose this idea. This isn't a piece that everyone absolutely has to own. It's for either the collectors that absolutely love Arkham Knight, completed the game to 240% or whatever it was, and unlocked this suit. They want to commemorate that by owning this piece, or it's for the collectors who missed out on both other versions of Batman Arkham Knight, and now this is their opportunity to pick up a Batman, because of course, if that Harley is coming out, now they're doing a Batgirl, that line is expanding, you're gonna need a Batman. This is the perfect opportunity to grab one, and a prestige Hot Toys exclusive version at that. So yes, this may not be for you, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be for anyone. This piece, for me specifically, is a really nice sort of shining knight version of Batman with that gold logo. I really like the way this looks. I like the final product. I always had my eye on that Prime 1 statue. I thought it looked absolutely fantastic. And this guy isn't a statue. He can move. Owen Choi over at 6 Scale Poses has made it his mission to show you that this piece can move, it can pose. Take a look at some of his pictures. They are absolutely outstanding and show that this piece can get into some absolutely awesome dynamic poses. Now, if you do want to pick up your very own Prestige Edition version of Batman Arkham Knight, he's in stock right now with toyswonderland.com, and the link for that is in the description below. You gotta be quick though, there were only 500 pieces released in Hong Kong. Toys Wonderland managed to get their hand on a few, and the price is pretty much on par with what you'd expect from Sideshow, maybe a little bit more, but then again, there were only 500, so bear that in mind. They have installment plans and they have rewards programs. Link for that is in the description below. While you're down there, why not check out the link to 6 Scale Network, the brand new awesome Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.